Page 6, Night Song. Now I've already given a lesson on this, at least one, maybe more, on this piece, because I've covered a lot of Alfred books. I don't remember what I said on the other. What I say in these lessons is whatever I think of at the time, so who knows? I might say the same, I might say different. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to talk about this piece here. No sharps or flats. We're in the key of A minor. Make sure you can do the scale for A minor, 2 octaves up and down if possible, and while you're at it, do C major, because it also has no sharps or flats. 6 8 times, so we're counting eighth notes, so it's just at the beginning 1 2 3, and we're going to come down here in this fashion. Broken chords. Just lift up. I generally don't like using the same finger. But it works here, so we can do that. That's fine, and you need the practice. You want to get to where you can do this eventually without even looking at the keyboard. You can feel going up or down one key on the keyboard. You'll have to use 3 notes, just one note will do. Should do it in both hands, because the left hand you've got the chords too. You're going down one note. Eventually you want to be able to do it without looking. You got to look at it first. So here, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now the last measure, the first line, however, I disagree here. So we don't need to do that. Just reach up and use 4th finger. So, and I'd like to connect that all together, because these have all been 3-note slurs, and they want, in my mind, why not just change it up a bit and let it be a 6-note slur at the end, because you're going to slow down anyway, so hey, it doesn't all have to be the same. And then you're doing the same thing an octave lower. Again, the last measure here, they don't give you any slurs because they're chords. I do a 4 on that first one. This is a second line last measure on page 6 here, because you're here, and then a 5, and you can do a 4 or a 5, either one, on the last chord, because really the chord is this. It's a little more advanced fingering, but see what you can do. If you got little hands, you got to use 5. Third line, use block chords. You kind of got to look for these. You got to look down to see, make sure you get the right ones. If you got really fat fingers and all, this may not work, but you can do a 2 3 5 if you need to. That's fine. Then go down an octave, and then top page 7. I think you can read these notes as well as I can, I hope. Right hand, again, is block chords. It's the same chord as the right hand's playing, but it's block, and you're going down. When I do this, I just keep my hand in that position and I'm moving. I aim one finger, you can whatever you want. But the idea is I collapse the wrist each time, because as long as the wrist is flexible, I can't tense up. You can't tense up and flex the wrist together. It doesn't work. So to flex the wrist, give the wrist a little on each of these. Let the wrist collapse a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. That's all it takes. So forth. Put the hands together slowly, because you're moving both hands here, but you're moving the same distance. You're struggling with that, then maybe in the left hand, just play the thumb. But use the thumb on each one. Can you do that? Then maybe add another finger, or here. If that works okay, add the third finger. works for me. I've been doing it for a million years, so it is not so bad. That's really the trickiest part of this whole piece, is these first couple of lines. If you can get those, piece of cake. Once you can do that, then add the articulation, and again, get rid of the hesitations. You don't want any hesitations, but the slurs are built in for you. But as I said earlier, I'd like to slur that last measure of the first line altogether. So finger. I can connect that too. So forth. So add the slurs. That's about all the articulation you get is slurs. And chords, when you're changing them, you can't slur. You just play them as connected as you can. That's the second line of page 7, in case you're wondering where I went. I ran off. Then we add the dynamics. And this is going to be for the right hand here. Soft. Keep this chords very soft. Good luck with that. We want to hear this right hand. And that's a retardando there, slow down. And then an odd tempo means go back to the speed you were going. And there's a couple ways of interpreting odd tempos. I'll explain them both and you choose. Sometimes you use one and then the other, and you experiment with both. One way of doing an odd tempo is to just all of a sudden take off again. So at the end of the first line, I'm here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You just all of a sudden take off. Another way of interpreting it is to gradually speed up. So it's not like all of a sudden, it's the first note or two is close to what you were going slow, and then you speed up. You take a couple, 3 notes to get up to speed. So again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And how many notes you take to speed up, that's an interpretation thing. You have to experiment. Usually not more than a couple of notes. So by the 4th beat of that, I'm up to speed. It's a gradual thing. So at the end of the second line, again, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now on the third line, they want you to go faster than you were at the beginning. So this is all of a sudden here. It doesn't say how faster, just a little faster. So if you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And dynamics, moderately loud, go up to loud. Right there. Ba, ba, ba. Then go back down. Now you're soft. You're going to echo it. You only go up to moderately soft. Moderately loud, you go up to loud. I went down to soft there at the end of the first line on page 7. Now you're moderately soft for the right hand, and you're staying there. And you're going to echo that soft. Now very soft. And that new note they're pointing out is a G. It's below the 3rd line. This is page 7, 3rd line down, 3rd measure over in the left hand. It's an octave. 1 ledger line below the staff is an E, 2 is a C, 3 is an A, and that's underneath the 3rd, so that's a G. If you have a short keyboard and you don't have it, then you play the lowest G you have. Close enough. Here. So forth. Now the coda is very soft, and they say molto retardando, which means you slow down a whole bunch. Take your time here because you got the whole line to slow down. So you're... And that wavy line, that arpeggio marker, you're going to play each note one at a time. It's a rolled chord. It's not done rhythmically. It's just a rolled chord. It's up to you on how fast you roll it. It depends, again, interpreting the music. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. Now I play it on the beat. 1, that's 4. 4, 5, 6. Some people play the top note on the beat. 4, 5, 6. I don't like that. Usually I play the bottom note on the beat, and then here. And you're very soft in all that mess too, so okay. Then once you have an idea of that, the speed-wise Andante moderato is a leisure moderato. And that's the feel of it. It's not the beat. So it's a... Because that would be the beat of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not a moderato. That's more like an allegretto. But it's the feel of it. Third line down, when you go a little faster, just speed it up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that a little bit? Speed it up a little. Now, roadmap wise, well, we got all kinds of things going on. If you look at the last line on page 6 at the beginning, there's a reverse repeat sign. Keep that in mind, because when you get over to page 7 at the end of the third line, there's a repeat sign. So you're going to repeat back to the reverse repeat sign and play all that again. Then after you repeat it, there's a note after repeating. Oh, isn't that nice? You don't really need that. I mean, it's understood. You should know that. First you repeat, and then you do the whatever. DC, I'll sign, then coda. DC means go back to the beginning, no, page 6. The sign is at the end of the second line on page 6. And at that point, you jump to the coda, which is the last line on page 7. So after you DC back to the beginning, the second line, last measure, you're here, slow down. Go to the coda. There's no all tempo here. You're already going slow. And now you're going to slow down some more. It's like an afterthought. Well, that's what a coda is. Because really the song ended at the end of the second line on page 6. That was it. This is just an afterthought. And you take your time, milk it for what you think. Don't milk it too long or the audience thinks, are you ever going to finish this? So it's pretty slow is what the point is. Now we have pedal. Well, we kind of need pedal because we'd like a lot of overtones. It would really make it's pretty dry here. That's pretty dry. And we'd like to connect it a little better, so we can use pedal and we overlap it. Now for the most part, I like your pedaling here. You don't need to really change anything. We can do that. It's overlapping. Push the notes down and then the pedal. Change the pedal after you play the notes. So the pedal overlaps the hands. You lose these phrases. But that's okay, because that's kind of choppy that way. But you still go through the motion of it in the hand, whether you can hear it or not. At the end of the second line, lift up, so there's a little silence before you go on. Now I like to connect it. I like to connect that. So I can use a type of pedaling, a kind of a legato pedaling here, and that is I'm pedaling just to connect the chords in the right hand here. So I'm going to pedal right before I change, right before I lift up to move. I'm going to pedal and I'm going to play it and lift up. I'm just connecting the chords here. It takes a little practice, but you might try that. Really, it looks like I'm pedaling on the 8th notes. And there you can pedal if you want. So, but lift up for the 3rd measure, so it's like taking a breath. Again, lift up. So we want to hear these phrases on some at least, so you lift the pedal up with the hand, so it's like taking a breath. Huh? Otherwise, you just pedal pretty much the way it says to pedal is fine. 3rd line down on page 7, I guess, again, I'm like pedaling on beat 3 and 6. And then it's all legato. Lift the pedal up with the hands before you repeat. It's like taking a breath again. at the end here, you're very slow, you're very soft. I suggest, if you can, try it, see if it works. You'll let the keys up, keep your hands on the keys, just let the keys up, and then slowly lift the pedal, and the sound should die away. As you slowly lift the pedal, the sound should die away. You're letting the dampers just gradually touch the strings. It does work on some electronic pianos and not others. You have to experiment with yours. But it's better than having it, you're finishing it softly and gently here, and then all of a sudden, no sound. Whoa, what happened? You know, just let it die away. Yeah, it's much more effective. Don't take forever to raise the pedal up though. I mean, just let it die. Experiment and see what you think.